Hey Capricorn, welcome to August. We're using the wisdom of the shadow. You got dependency and vulnerability, bottom of the deck emptiness. Third time this has shown up. Showed up for Gemini, showed up for Pisces, and now for you. So if you have any of those placements, I definitely invite you to watch those messages and let's get into it. Do you remember when I ended a video last month or the month before telling you to try co-regulation for once? We're here again. It doesn't mean you're unhealed that you need support. It's not a reflection of you not being responsible. It's not a reflection of you not doing the work. Like, you're not a burden. You deserve support. It's an investment. It's an investment. That's it. I'm not going to lecture you. Let's read dependency. But I have to say that's what I'm channeling or what I'm feeling before I read this so that you can have a context. That which we tie ourselves to becomes interwoven into our sense of wholeness and worthiness. When we attach to something, we can tend to draw satisfaction or fulfillment from that very thing, whether it be people, relationships, the happiness of others, material items, ideas, thought patterns, being of service, phones, social media, praise, spiritual experiences, or a substance, drug, alcohol, food, sugar, etc. Dependency is not defined by an assessment of whether the person or thing to which we are attaching ourselves is inherently good or bad. In this work, we know nothing is that simple. Rather, the dependency is the inner pattern we are invited to look at, to see how we are sourcing our fulfillment, bliss, satisfaction, self-perception, and worth. When there is something external from which we are sourcing our fulfillment, we are giving our own power over to it. Our dependence on that can also become a way for us to numb, check out, bypass our own feelings and experiences. Become aware of interactions that may be codependent. Invite yourself to look at your relationship with what you consume. Recognize addictive patterns in new ways. Explore hyperindependence and interdependence. With dependency, let us remember that we are greater than its hold on us. What am I dependent upon, attached to, or addicted to? When I am stressed, hurt, down, what do I lean towards? Where do I source my fulfillment and satisfaction? What I'm feeling is that sometimes you shut down instead of reaching out and seeking support. You might turn to the drink, when you're stressed out or something like that, or, oh, I need to go have drinks. I'm not judging that, like, your girl is a lushie. Like, I'm not judging that. Saying better for fun and not for sadness or stress. Okay. And there's still somebody attached to you. You're actually vulnerable to somebody's attachment to you. And we still haven't fully pulled those claws or grips out of you. But we'll see. The reason why I don't think you notice it because you're capable of doing so much and like carrying the load and like, or like you think you're being a good friend. I'm not sure. Well, I'll have to get into it later. But there's a very wise person within you. You are this person already that is irritated by the way that this person acts. And there is a part of you that thinks you're just being judgmental. That is not true. That's your discernment. You just don't see like how it's having any major impacts on you just yet. So it's just kind of like annoying. Mm-mm. Okay. I am brave in the expression of my full truth. I see the gifts of standing in my vulnerability. Vulnerability can feel risky. We are exposing our hearts and opening to possibilities of rejection, hurt, abandonment, or being seen in a way that isn't desirable. When we can connect with others on a real, human, messy, flawed levels in a world that values infallibility, the connections feel more nourishing and meaningful. We can only do that with a willingness to bear it all emotionally with full authenticity without being frozen in fear of what others will think. If we stuff down what wants to be expressed, we can get caught in spirals of self isolation, insecurity, overthinking, shame, or doubt. Vulnerability is a radical act. Our weaknesses and faults are what make us human. The world that has been created around us that values an image of perfection without wavering is in need of realness and a return to vulnerable true expression. We are seeing this happen collectively, women reclaiming gray hair and unmade faces, ads showing wider ranges of bodies, ages, and skin, and more truths about emotion, mental health, and real life challenges being shared socially. More realness, please. It is okay to be human, to have emotions, to have flaws, to have fears, and it is okay to share all of that. In fact, here is your permission slip. Invite yourself to be you in all the truth, wildness, uniqueness that you are. Share with others, and you don't got to do it in public because I already know how you like cringing around. Like you could be authentic, but you don't need to be overexposed. And there is actually okay, this may help you to identify overexposing yourself and your vulnerabilities and like the things that you're going through in the attention economy, we'll call it. Um, there's something codependent about that. Why are we sharing so much? Why is this person sharing? Like, and who are you sharing it with? And like, is this vulnerability? Is this like attempting to connect to an audience, or like, what is it? But there's like something ick that you may even be tempted to do, thinking that you are just being real and like letting some of your true self being seen, but there are some things that you need to share with, don't need to share with anybody but a trusted friend. So, okay. Contemplations. What layers of vulnerability would feel good to share? That's nice. How do I feel hearing others share relatable vulnerabilities? How can I create safer spaces to share more vulnerably? Okay. We'll see what comes up in relationships to see if I can get a better idea of kind of what I'm feeling. I feel like you might be being pushed or pulled to share more than you're comfortable with. And it's okay for you to create a boundary around that. Okay, career and finances. The Tower. Relationships. things fall apart. The tower has been coming up for everybody, so don't be alarmed. It's just happening. Something in the cosmos. Relationships. We'll get more temperance. Love that. Wheel of Fortune. Love that in your mind, but also 3 major arcana. It's just a bigness. It's a moment. Queen of Pentacles in the heart. Love that. That's actually you. And 9 of Swords in the spirit. 3 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Kind of reminded me of like this overexposure, this codependent, like having to cut something off and wounding. You need support, spiritual support. Wellness support. Spiritual support. King of Wands. It is about emotions, and it is about pain, fear, heartache, whatever. But the Emperor and the 3 of Pentacles also lets me know you need professional support. And this could look like a range of things. Could be a consultant. It could be, because it's coming up in the spirit, it's like a teacher or a practice or a pedagogy or a methodology to help you with whatever the mindset or like what you may perceive but not fully understand what's happening. That's channeled, so I don't know what's going on, but you need help creating frameworks. And I know it's weird to talk about it that way when it's feel like it's something that's coming in the spirit, but it's probably directly pertaining to this tower and the work and career and finances. Your work is also a spiritual assignment. So if it's like keeping you up at night or stressing you or it feels like a point of attack, then 5 of Swords. It's okay to seek professional support or bring in a strategist to help you. An intuitive strategist. Yes, it can be me, but I'm just anybody like that you feel comfortable and safe with sharing that can appropriately ascertain what's going on. 5 of Swords, clarifying the tower. We also have 8 of Wands. The Moon card, bottom of the deck, is a mystery. It is going to work itself out by the end of the month with the second full moon, the star. But what's actually happening is the full moon in Aquarius marks a time of exposure of secrets. And that is that exposure of secrets, or that making public of what has been hidden, that ultimately is for the good of you, the elevation of you, but it is chaotic, and that is why you need support. It is kind of like a crisis management moment. Like in a corporate setting, this could look like somebody embezzling, or it could look like a scandal, like an inappropriate relationship scandal at work, or unexpected firing or layoff or something like that. And then all of a sudden, like, you're expected to step up and support or solve a problem. Okay. I'm telling you now. I don't even think it's going to catch you off guard. I think you may have been prepared for it, at least subconsciously. And I'm also hearing history repeating itself. So it's like you've been here before, potentially at another time. And so don't do what you did before. I'm hearing show up in this more advanced, mature, um, understanding that this too shall pass, and you don't have to be reactive. You just have to be strategic. You're not shook by it, actually. So turn to your practices, turn to your support. Temperance in relationships and community. Princess of Discs, Six of Pentacles, Five of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Lean on the relationships where you've invested. Lean on the relationships where you are owed, I'm hearing. Lean on the relationships where you have been waiting to cash in. That's what I'm hearing. I'm just laughing at y'all. Now, the places where you've kind of been pretending not to see the problems, you won't be able to ignore that anymore. So if somebody needs mentorship, you can recommend it. If somebody asks for a favor, if you can help, you can. If you can't, you can't, because you have to be honest about where it is that you are. If you have to delay a request, delay a meeting, until like you're prepared and you can emotionally handle it, be honest about where you are. You don't actually have to overexpose yourself to vulnerability. You just have to be honest about your capacity, because you do need more time, because things are going to work themselves out. You may not know how, but you just have to trust. So if somebody's trying to either collect a debt or or somebody's trying to ask for help or something, you just have to be honest about that. You need to wait to get some things sorted. This is very related to money, or related to a project, or related to, there's obviously this Victory of Swords here. So it doesn't, the absence of romance is very present. And we can ask Spirit to kind of like speak to that. But to be honest, it's not even something that you care about or focus on, because you have all of this on your plate, which could also be the pain, that there's just not enough room for it right now, or that you want to make room for it. But it really has to be somebody who can take care of you. And I don't mean financially, I mean that can support you in your bigness. You need something from somebody in relationships, though. What is it that you need? And how are you going to let yourself be vulnerable enough to ask the Judgment? You need a favor. I don't know what it is about, but you need a favor. So you have to be vulnerable enough to ask. And I think this is you releasing your judgment around dependency, or like feeling like it's appropriate for you to be in need in this way, or to need a problem solved in this way. But sometimes strategy is the solution. And so it might not actually, don't feel like it's like a bailout or anything. It's kind of just like it could be something that is just like a press release or that's so specific, but like getting the word out, getting the message out. Like I said, something's going public. So this is, ooh, keep something a secret until what? So potentially somebody may ask you to like sign some type of non-disclosure or sign some type of contract or come on board a project that you're concerned about, not conflict of interest, but whether or not it's in your best interest in the long run. I don't think it is. But if you're feeling obligated to do it because of the relationship and the loyalty and the debt, and like you feel like you have to do it, then you can do it, but negotiate the terms so that you do end up benefiting. This is so specific. There is some type of settling or there is some type of like getting yourself out of something. So there is kind of like a sacrifice you have to make to get yourself out of it. That kind of hurts. It feels like it didn't have to be like this, but you got to do what you got to do. Sorry, I'm feeling into it. So anyway, Wheel of Fortune in the mind, Queen of Pentacles in the heart. This is you. This is you in the spirit being stressed out. So give yourself time. Honestly, give yourself the gift of faith that this is going to work out, that it is going to work itself out. If you need support and spiritual support in tackling this anxiety or this stress or this fear, and you just need some type of support. So give yourself the gift of that. It is worth the investment because you can't carry this all by yourself. If you're wondering how it's going to work out, it's institutional, court ordered, or government backed. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I'm clearing the cards because of the intensity of the anxiety that I'm tapping into. Before I give you some closing guidance, Capricorn. The Star, Temperance, Nine of Swords, and the Three of Swords back at the bottom of the deck. So, in summary, spiritual answers, faith, go to spirit, pray on it, and not in desperation, but in expectation. And it can be hard to do in the face of like heartbreak, but just as hard as somebody could potentially be fighting against something, it's just as hard as you have people fighting for you in the spirit. So activate that to take on the battles that you don't know how to win. And ask spirit to show you clearly who your allies are. Before you enter into any new contracts and agreements. Well, spirit is not going to let you enter into any new contracts and agreements until you recognize who your allies are. You always play the long game. Now is a little different. This isn't about the long game. This is about the right now. It's about preservation so that there can be a long game. So I love you.